Life is full of work and stress. Parenting can be a mess. Being a woman is hard enough without adding on that extra stuff. We'll cover topics of every kind. Helpful resources we will find. We'll even drink a bottle of wine. Join us. It will be a real good time.
Hi, I'm Amanda,
And I'm Nikki,
and welcome to Working Mom's Wine, where we drink a bottle of wine.
and whine about our crazy, busy, stressful working mommy lives while trying to come up with resources and information that might help along the way.
That's right. Are you drinking one of your usuals today?
I am. I have my Nighthawk Bottle Box Cabernet Sauvignon.
They ought to sponsor you at this point.
They really should.
I went physically into the grocery store the other day, which is
What?
rare. Okay, we're going to do a tangent wine. The grocery store that I shop at, if there is a buy two, get two free, sometimes there's buy two, get three free. They will very often give me the ones that I'm paying for and then not the free ones. So whether it's like they're out of a flavor of soda and didn't check with me to see if I wanted a different kind of soda, things like that. So
That's annoying.
anytime, yeah, anytime that the coupons are relatively complicated or reliant on a specific number of items actually being given to me, I've decided I'm going to physically go in versus curbside. Because I went physically in, I did pick up a couple different bottles of things, and this one caught my eye,
Ooh,
Elemental, and they put the
yeah.
AL like it's the periodic element table thing. But I was looking at
Hmm.
the back of it, so this feels very different. Um,
Okay.
and it says it's recyclable, it's shatterproof, it's outdoor friendly, and it's 80% lighter than glass. And I did pick this thing up and think, I must be getting like a mini bottle of wine. It even like
Mm-hmm.
looks a little smaller to me. Maybe it's not. We'll compare. But if it's 80% lighter than glass, yeah, this is much heavier. Then that makes sense.
It's a tiny bit shorter.
A little bit, but not crazy. But it
Yeah.
says 750 on it. That's what a normal wine bottle is, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So it's
I was
probably
like, oh,
fatter.
that explains it. And then they have a little description on the back. It says the world of wine has many traditions. Elemental Wines is about to shatter one of them.
Oh.
Introducing the first of its kind, shockingly lightweight, infinitely recyclable aluminum wine bottle. So I got their Pinot
Fancy.
Grigio, which has melon, honey, and orange blossom in it. And they say it may not
Ooh.
save the world, but it's a sip in the right direction.
Well, well, well.
It's okay. It's not it's not an outstanding wine, but it's fine.
Decent.
Hmm. And for the what, $11 I paid for it, pretty good. So,
$11 isn't bad. That's not bad at all.
exactly. Like it's not like I splurged on a fancy wine. Um, do you watch the React channel at all?
Mm-mm. I don't know what that
So,
is.
it's a channel, they do a few different things, but they do a lot of try not to eat challenges. So they'll take food from movies or shows or whatever, and they'll recreate it on their show. And you try not to eat it. If you end up eating it, you have to eat a punishment food at the end. If you don't eat it, then you get a prize, like a prize food at the end. So it might be like one really good food, or like sometimes they'll do like whole feasts and stuff. And sometimes they involve alcohol. So in one of their recent episodes, they did the same wine that the guy drinks in Ratatouille,
Mm.
and it's an $18,000 bottle of wine.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I'm like, if we ever strike it rich, I would really like to try
If
that.
we ever win the lottery, there will be signs.
Uh huh. We're going to finally open a bottle of whatever it was, Chateau Cheval Blanc or something like that.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I probably really butchered that.
I cannot imagine having that kind of money.
I know. That would be crazy.
Oh.
I'll spend all of Disney money on one bottle of wine and then some.
So I say I'd be like two Disneys
Yeah, it really would.
for a family of 4 to 5.
Yeah, because ours, even with the like going to like a middle-ish hotel resort,
Mm-hmm.
I think was only going to be 11. So,
Okay, yeah, I think we picked a value resort. I think it's
yeah.
considered value, isn't it? Art of
Yeah,
Animation.
it is.
And we're doing the family suite, which is a little
Yeah,
more than the average room, and I
right.
think total it's like 7,000 for the hotel and 4-day park tickets.
So today we're going to whine about fishing, which is relevant to me
Mm-hmm.
because I just went fishing. Um, and so I have some tips based on our recent experience.
Yeah, which will be good for me because I live very close to a lake and have never gone fishing, even though
Yeah.
I have a children's fishing rod for my child. Just
We
hanging in the
have
basement for the last 4 years.
a a fishing rod and possibly a bait box somewhere around our house, although we took some things to Brandon's mom's house.
Yeah.
So, not entirely sure. But we went to a church sponsored event today, so they had extras and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And what's really funny is they had a raffle, and basically everyone ended up with a prize because of the amount of prizes that they had. But on the raffle table was some brand new fishing rods. And I tried to talk my children into them so that they could have their own rods for next year. And they were like, nope, we want to do these other things like, Sky Zone. So, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do,
But,
indeed?
depending on what's the word I'm looking for? Your level of comfort with the outdoors. Fishing can be a little gross. There's
Mm-hmm.
often live bait involved. The year that the cicadas were everywhere, Eliana was running around grabbing cicadas for us to stab on there, which honestly, I feel like that's less gross than worms because, like, the worms themselves can be a little slimy and slippery, and you gotta, like, sometimes cut them in half and sometimes wrap them around the hook and things like that. I'm probably making people throw up right now. We should put a disclaimer on here. But, like, a
Yeah,
bug
I
is just
can't
a
do
little
it.
more less slimy.
I can't do it for the texture and the noise I fear it's going to make, but I also can't do it because
What
I'm a
noise is a
big.
worm gonna make?
I was more thinking the cicada, like a crunch.
I was like, do you think it's gonna
But
scream when you put it on the hook?
no, but I'll imagine it being in severe pain because it's a living thing and I can't handle it. I went and helped mom and dad take the pool cover off. I helped mom and dad take our pool cover off this year, and there were a
Yeah.
bunch of tadpoles, and Ari rescued some to raise. But even just dumping them on the ground and knowing that that was just going to like suffocate them, I felt horrible. And I'm
No,
like,
I
this
wondered
is
where you got those
stupid.
from.
Oh, she wanted to save them all. And I was like, we're not taking hundreds of tadpoles home. And I even told her no to a few, but grandma found a bucket and now we're raising tadpoles. So
I thought you had somehow come across them at your house. That's
mm-mm.
funny. Oh
I went
man,
to be helpful and I got sent home with a bucket of tadpoles. Okay.
that'll learn you.
But I know it's ridiculous because I eat meat and I know how that winds up on my table, but I can't even bring myself to stab a worm. So it's ridiculous. I know it's ridiculous. Don't come at me, internet. Okay.
The other issue we ran into today,
Oh
which was more
man.
of the first one wasn't really an issue. None of us are really too weirded out by that stuff. So like even Eliana
Yeah.
was putting her own worms on and everything. But at one point, and I was afraid this was going to happen, Jack turned around and looked at me and said, Mom, I gotta go potty. And I'm like, well, I don't see any bathrooms. There was one,
Mm-hmm.
it turned out there was one right up where the parking lot was,
Okay.
but it was not in good shape. We
Oh.
ran into someone like on our way, because I was like, we were in an area where they had a conservation center.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, maybe I'll just drive up to that. He can go to the bathroom there. And as we're walking up, one of the other ladies that was at the event was like, oh yeah, I just came from the bathroom. It's really not good. Like maybe a boy who can stand up won't mind, but it's really not in good condition. And I'm like, okay,
Oh.
maybe it's fine. And like, some people will like not go into a gas station bathroom and say they're all bad, and some people will go into ones that are like fine. Um, so I got to thinking maybe this is like a gas station bathroom situation where it's really not that bad, but it's not like a nice air conditioned master bathroom toilet. So we went around there's no door, first of all, but we went around the corner, and it was very tall, which would have been hard for him anyway. Definitely a situation where he would have wanted to stand up and not sit on it. And so I was
Mhm.
like, you know what? We're just gonna drive down to the conservation center. But oftentimes, depending on where you're fishing at, you don't have access to a bathroom. So
Yeah.
that can be a problem with little kids who might not be willing to pee in public.
So how are all these older men doing it? Because I remember what our father was like.
I know.
I
Well,
think, how are they handling that?
I think depending on where you
I mean,
end up
obviously you can
fishing.
pee in the woods or whatever, but
Exactly. Exactly.
what about the other need?
I mean, I think they just hike out there and do that too. I
Gross,
wouldn't.
guys.
I know. I'd be like, all
I'm
right,
too
I'm gonna get in my
cityfied.
car and we're gonna try and find something.
Yeah.
Um, but I think the biggest issue we had today was just letting a fishing pole be in the hands of a child because they're swinging it this way and they're swinging it that way.
Oh,
And
God.
if they're casting, you just have this like vision in your head of someone getting hooked in the back of the head or the back of the shirt. But even if before we even had the fishing line in the fishing pole, Silas was like swinging his like just not paying attention. He didn't even know, but he's like not looking at the pole, and you know how like your arms will move and you don't think about it. About clocked me in the head once or twice, so that was fun too.
Yikes.
Do you
Oh.
think Ari would enjoy fishing, or do you think she'd be a little grossed out, or?
I don't know. She's asked me to do it a couple times because she knows there's a frozen fishing rod downstairs that's
Mhm.
little kid size. And she
Yeah.
has a friend that lives over here that goes fishing with his dad. But as much as she likes the sound of it, she has never gone and is
Yeah.
not a person to touch bugs and things.
Yeah.
So I don't know that in practice she would actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
But you never
Well,
know till you try.
I was gonna say maybe we should all go sometime because Eliana would probably be more than willing to help her manage everything and learn how to put the worm on and
Well,
everything.
now that you mention your kids liking it, they do a yearly kids derby here where
Oh,
you can
nice.
show up and the anglers club runs it, so they come out and help everybody.
Yeah.
And I think there's even like poles you can borrow and stuff, but I'd have to
Yeah.
check out the rules, but
Yeah, that
maybe
would be
they'd want to
fun.
come down and do that.
Yeah. The thing I like about the event that our church does is like they make it fun. Like if you get the biggest fish, which Eliana got the biggest fish this year, you get a trophy. But also if you get the smallest fish, you get a trophy. So
That's cute.
yeah, it's really fun. And then they do it for like two different age groups, so like the younger kids and the older kids are in different age groups. But they also have the little raffle, but they had like free hot dogs and chips and water too. So everybody got to have a
Okay.
hot dog. So it was a lot of fun, even though I was
Yeah.
poorly prepared.
It happens.
Yeah.
You'll
Everyone's
remember
going to
next
learn.
year and it'll be
Right.
different.
Everyone's going to learn from my mistakes today. And I knew today was going to be a little crazy because not only did we have this fishing thing that of course started at 8 in the morning, so we had to get up on a Saturday to go do it, but after that we had
Hmm.
the rehearsals for the dance recital that's coming up next week, and then on my way home I had to drop off a child at a birthday party. So this
Oh,
was
man.
something I was really looking forward to, grabbing this glass of wine.
I bet.
But
That's too much.
yeah,
All we had to do was the dance thing today. And that
that's going
was
to
it.
be relevant to our next podcast as well, so stay tuned.
Yeah, stay
I'll whine
tuned.
about it twice in a row. But I was thinking up some tips on my way home for anyone who does go fishing because it is a fun thing to do with your kids.
Yeah.
it's something that once they catch on to it can be like a nice relaxing activity for everybody. And it's good to get them out and show them different things that they can do because you never know
Yeah.
what they're going to latch onto later as something they really enjoy.
Yeah, it's
Like
not a
Eliana
screen,
caught
it's a way to connect to
multiple.
nature. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so everybody was just like having a blast today. But um so one of the things I would recommend if you have younger children especially is first of all, pee before you go. But if you're in a situation where you think you're going to run into a kid having to go, there's the usual hacks of having like the kid potty in a vehicle. Like you could take them back to your vehicle and they could potty in there. But like maybe scope out a place where you know there will be bathrooms, whether it's a park that has like a two bathroom situation up there, or like even though this conservation area has some other lakes that are spread out throughout like the whole few miles that this thing takes up, we went into the actual entrance where there were other lakes, and then it was a short drive to the building that had the normal bathrooms. And they were even air conditioned. I was
Ooh.
very surprised. I know. We walked in there and I was like, Jack's not going to want to leave. But if you can find a place where you've like scoped out the bathroom situation beforehand, might be a good idea. My other thought was take someone with you who has been fishing, is used to fishing. Not only can that help if you might, not want to put a worm on a hook yourself, maybe, you cast something and then it gets stuck on some algae, or something gets stuck in the mouth of a fish and you don't know how to get it out, things like that. Having someone who's already experienced who can help you with those issues or bring the tools that you might not have thought to bring
Hmm.
can be helpful. Like we needed a lot of hooks plied out of mouths today. And so I'm like, okay, next time I'm going to make sure that we bring pliers so that we can get these out ourselves. Um, Extra fishing string, things like that. Because sometimes you have to cut the string, whatever. So you could talk to someone before you go. You can bring someone with you that kind of knows the ropes and they can help you with any issues that you encounter. And then something else that I thought up today is to bring some other outdoor activities because we had a couple of younger kids that sometimes wanted to fish and sometimes were bored with the idea. And so I was like, well, tell you what, I don't want you to run around the edge of the lake, but maybe you go back out into this little field area and you can run around there. So it's like if we had like yard games or like super soakers, like whatever, something else for them to do that would have kept them entertained. Luckily, one of the things that Jack got was a Minecraft trident. So he just carried that box around for a while and was like pretending to like get people with the trident and everything. So that kept him entertained. And then the other last piece of advice that I have is just pack everything the night before. That's what I usually do.
Just be
Didn't,
prepared.
yeah, didn't
That's
do
what
it
this
this
boils
time.
down to.
hmm Every time I don't do it, I highly regret it. I was in a rush this morning and I remember thinking, we saved our old shoes. We should put our old shoes on. Didn't. So everyone was down by the lake in their new shoes and it rained last night. So while it was great conditions for fishing, it was terrible conditions for keeping your shoes clean. And then people would like walk down with their chairs and I was like, "Oh no. We didn't bring chairs." Just if you pack everything the night before, you can just lay everything out and not be rushed. I've gotten to the point where I'm setting the bags in front of the actual door so
Hmm.
that I see it on my way out. Literally can't exit the house without it. Um, and I did remember the sunscreen just in case the sun came out, although it didn't today, which was fine because it made us less sweaty. But I know you don't fish a lot, but you do go down to the lake a lot. Do you have any
I
tips
do.
that you want to add? Since fishing can often happen at a
Hmm.
lake.
I don't know. A lot of what we do at the lake is just swimming and
Yeah,
making sure you have life jackets and bright colored swimwear and
yeah. Honestly, that's not a bad idea for that either, like a brightly colored life jacket or something if you have a younger kid, because they could end up in the lake.
Yeah. People wander, they trip, they, especially if your kid swims with a life jacket at the pool all the time, sometimes they lose the knowledge that they can't swim without one.
Right.
And they're
It's like
used
a
to just
false
walking right into
confidence.
the water. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, having an extra adult and life jackets on,
Yep.
sunscreen, hats, all that good
Yep.
stuff.
Hats for sure.
A tick check when you get home.
Oh gosh, I'm glad you said that because I haven't done that yet. I do like I keep forgetting that this is a thing, but the snackle box instead of the tackle
Oh,
box.
yeah.
We should do that next time.
We'll have to get, they have the individual boxed wines now that they sell, and a
True.
snackle box, and we can have charcuterie while they get gross.
Yep. One of the guys walked up. He was holding an energy drink, but for a second I wondered if he was holding a seltzer, and I was like, oh man, church fishing event, but that does sound good. You could talk about your Dinah P story.
Oh my God. That's definitely a side whine. I could whine about that for hours. I have a dog who will not go to the bathroom in the rain, except she will. So here's the kicker. I have a backyard, a fenced in area. It's very small. It's maybe like, I don't know, 5 by 5 or something, a little square of grass, basically. And I specifically purchased this place because it was the only one I could find that had a fenced in backyard. And I don't want to leash up dogs and walk them all the time. In fact, when I bought this place, I had a toddler and I thought, how will I walk 2 dogs while carrying a toddler?
Right.
Like, that's not going to happen. So I got my new puppy, potty trained her out in the backyard, going great. Everything's good. Anytime it snows or rains, she refuses to go to the bathroom out there. And I think, oh, she must not like the wet. Maybe she's just thinks it's gross or whatever. So I let her, there's a side that has rocks, like gravel rocks. I let her go over there. I don't have any problems with that. But anytime it's wet, she won't even stand in that, right? So then I start taking her out front when Ari and I are out there or when we're walking to the bus stop, and she starts, using the restroom in the front yard. And the front yard is not fenced in. It's open to the main street. So, she's always on a harness and a leash for that.
Is the grass the same?
Yeah, it's the exact same grass, only longer. It's longer.
That makes this even better.
And when it rains and snows, she will go in it, no problem. She went outside with me yesterday in the pouring rain.
Yes. So the grass is the same, but she refuses to go in the backyard.
Yeah, she won't go in the backyard, but she'll go in the front yard in the exact same circumstances. But longer grass, which means more wet. So it doesn't make sense to me. So I've been getting stubborn and putting her on the harness and the leash and making her go in the backyard. But she is stubborn too. So there have been a few nights recently where we battled for hours, and I do mean hours, where I stand out there with her forever, and then, because I get so mad, I'm so mad, and then I'll put her in the crate, and I'll leave for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever I've decided is the random amount of time this time, and then I'll go back down. And I got to the point where we were in bed, lights out, like ready to be asleep. And Dinah's still downstairs in the crate because she won't pee before she comes up. And it's been like 4 hours.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is insane. At this point, I know she's just tricking me. But at one point, I was talking to you and to Mom about it. And someone said maybe she just doesn't have to go to the bathroom. And I was like, it has been an awful long time. I would think she has to. But why would she hold out for this long? It doesn't make any sense. So I tested the theory and I took her out front. And what did she do the second we set foot out there? She peed for a good long time. And I was livid. I was like, I can't believe after so many hours I backed down and she won the battle and I'm so mad.
Oh my gosh.
So we've had that fight a couple times in the last couple days.
How fun for you.
Super
How do you always
fun.
get the high maintenance dogs?
I invite chaos into my life.
Oh man. Well, As always, thanks for joining us. You can find us on all the socials as Working Moms Whine. Feel free to give a like and subscribe. If you have any fishing tips or funny fishing stories, leave them in the comments. We would love to read them. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.